So like
Okay.
if we had more like righteous rulers, that I would say, I don't even want to call them rulers because they're really supposed to just be people that support us. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Guide
government
us,
should,
lead us.
yes, the
Yeah.
government shouldn't be in full control. You know what I'm saying? It should be
Right.
more power and governed by the people. The government is just like to secure those actions that's made by the people.
Right. I
So
totally
like
see what you're saying. I feel like, man, okay. So the meaning, okay, what is power? Okay.
do
So
you
power would
believe
be like maybe influence over others, right? So power would be influence over others. Um,
do you think like guidance to an
well, I think that people who are good leaders use their power, quote unquote, to like guide and support and, you know, um, use their position for the greater good, right?
right?
But then people in power who like bad power, I don't even know how else do you say it,
I would
power that's
say,
used,
I
yeah,
don't want to say like a dictator because dictators is a whole different level, but like
well, kind of though. I mean, people who are in power who are doing bad things, I would say, are like um, people who are
we
doing
should
things
just,
that aren't for the greater good, but are more like even self-centered or like,
we should label those as criminals.
right?
Don't you believe? Because
A
like
hundred
if we're
percent.
gonna put you in a position of power, we need
That you
your,
misuse.
yes, that you misuse. That should be a criminal act. We put you in that power so we can feel safer, not
Right,
so that we can have like behind the scenes crime or things as such. Like
right,
if we wanted a dictator in office, then you should have just overthrew. What's up, bro?
right.
But I'm saying,
Well, and here's the thing, I feel like people who are in the position of power have great responsibility to
right,
use that power in a very careful way. And I just don't feel like oftentimes people who are in power, like specifically politically speaking in our country, are in it for self or for a specific group
right,
and not looking at the greater good and people outside of like their specific group.
right.
So I'm specifically talking about the AU Trump supporters.
So like, you believe that Trump supporters are
Radical cult
okay,
followers.
but would it
How
be,
clear is
but would
that?
it be different if it was like, let's say, instead of the radical, it's a blind follower? Is that just as bad as
Yes,
a
I think it's
radical?
just as bad, but I do think it's very different because I don't think that these Trump supporters are blindly following. I think a lot of them have their eyes wide open and are choosing this horrendous, um, uh, gosh, I mean, he's so many things. He's like, he's racist, he's a misogynist,
Mhm.
he is, oh God, he's
See,
horrible. I don't even know exactly how to explain it.
I can't defend Donald Trump because he has said some things on national television that I wouldn't see, that isn't acceptable for a
He incited
president to say.
violence.
But I will say this: when it comes to just being a buck and like getting straight to the point, Donald Trump does that. But the way that he presents his information could be better. I know that he's the first black president, I mean white president, to actually invest into black colleges, which black colleges ain't even black owned for real, for real. So I can't even say if that's a win for black people, but I could say, not trying to defend him, but like I could say
He has done some things
for
in your mind
employment,
for,
yes, for
yeah,
employment for
sure.
minority groups. But like other
But when it
than
comes down to it, he, I think that he is also like against women. I mean, the things that he said about women, absolutely not okay, not respectful, not kind, not considerate, not anything,
right.
you know? I
But
just
if
think
you
he's a
really think
rotten
about it, a
person.
lot of people up in the White House and people like that get a lot of cases for stuff like that. Like just the general group of political figures, like they have a lot of cases like that, especially with pedophilia, child abuse, like, and what's it called? Not assault, but like sexual harassment.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
saying like people in power modern day, even if they don't openly show that they misusing their power,
Right.
behind the scenes they doing a lot that we aren't really catching, and I feel like people need to monitor
Yeah, I
that.
think that's fair. That's true.
What power do you have, and how did you get yours, and how do you use it?
Well, okay, so I guess that I don't like the word power associated with myself because I don't feel like I didn't ask for any power. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that I am in a position of maybe not power, but maybe authority would be a
Mhm.
better word. So, for example, like at school, I'm an authority figure, right? So, my my goal is to keep everyone safe and have a peaceful, stable, safe learning environment
Okay.
for all.
So when you was first going into school, like, and you chose like teaching is what I want to do, this is
Hmm.
my profession. When you going into it, did you not think that you would be influencing the thoughts
Yes.
patterns of the next generation? So that
Yes.
is a lot of power
It
on your
is.
hands, period.
I just don't like
But
the word power, I guess.
right, okay, I can understand that, like leadership. But I'm saying, in your mind, has it ever came to the point where like I feel like I should be teaching them things out, not so much outside of the subject, still a part of the subject, but something to give the kids more than what the
A hundred
government and
percent.
what
Yes.
is instituted to us?
Yes. Because I think my heart as an educator is not just about like learning math and
Mm,
language arts and social studies and science, but like learning about life. And that's one of the things that I like about my position is that we do a lot of life skills.
right.
Um, so I'm not necessarily imparting like viewpoints or anything like that. Nothing like that as far as influence, but influencing such as
Life skills and things that are gonna help you with
yes,
real life
yes, and a
experiences.
lot of that we work on is like social skills and stuff. So how to be kind and respectful, what to do when you're feeling upset or there's a conflict with someone, like how to navigate some of those things while still doing it in a positive way,
Right.
so that
So here's my question.
yes,
Because I know you said you worked with your kids with meditation, but do you believe that should always have been a thing for growing up with kids, especially knowing how kids are? Their minds are all over the place. They're
yeah,
imaginative. They love to have fun. Should have meditation been a thing that they taught us in kindergarten,
yes,
preschool?
100%. I think if we spent as much time in helping our students like be aware of themselves and
Yes.
help them to regulate their own emotions and making positive choices and really thoughtful choices. I think if we spent as much time on that as we do on like the discipline side of it, we wouldn't have to spend
And
as
I'm
much
pretty
time on
sure
that
grades
discipline
and a lot
side.
of stuff, because what a lot of kids go through is it's like overwhelming at times with
Right.
school and what you have to deal with your family and what you want to do with your life
Yes.
at the exact same time. Even
100%.
being as a kid, you always want to make your own choices. You want to do what you want to do,
Right.
but at the exact same time, there are some things that are required of you. There's
Right.
some things that you just can't control, like environmental factors, and
Hmm.
just I understand
But
that
giving people
portion
the
of it.
skills,
Yes,
to do things on their own and empower students to be their own.
person, like, and not trying
Yeah.
to have to
Like, don't look to me for how you think or what you feel. Like, look at within
right,
yourself. And like giving kids the time and the space and the skills to do that, I think is
and to
huge.
develop their own character. Like,
Right.
because I feel like society is trying to engineer people at this point, not like
I see what
like
you're
like
saying.
in your face like engineering, but like through it, they control what we see. We have
Like,
technology.
how not even, what is that called? Like, not even, I keep wanting to say subvert, but like below the level of consciousness. I guess I don't even know
I
what
want to
the word is
say
that I'm looking for, like subconsciously almost,
yes, subconsciously, because
right?
like basically you experience reality with all five senses simultaneously. Your
Mm-hmm.
sixth sense is your pineal gland, which is the information beyond physical reality. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna explain it. So we are always being stimulated mentally by our environment, no matter what. So what we see, what we hear, what we taste, it all is all programming our brain. So imagine only being in an environment where we're being taught this, we only know this, and this is
Mhm.
all that we've ever known, instead of being taught how to create your own
Right.
and be your own person and
Isn't that
express.
scary to think about that? Like, I think it's scary when you really, if you really sit and think on that, like
Right.
how that is happening currently in our society. Like,
It
that's
honestly,
scary.
it is bad, but at the exact same time, countries like communist China and places like that, I feel like it could be 1,000 times
Yes.
worse.
No, I do agree.
But
I do
I'm
agree.
saying, like, I kind of feel like it's kind of more scary to see how like communist China and all these other outer forces that we really don't know much about other than our government knows
Mm-hmm.
truly, and besides sources that we get from time to time, like how they're slowly like coming into this country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I know people see it in the news, like a lot of companies in America is owned by China. We get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our stuff and furniture and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
made from China. It's on your device, made from China,
Right.
and all that. So like, we really got to start paying attention to these things. And I
Yeah.
feel like it should be taught to students, because who is going to lead this country after y'all? Y'all the teachers. Who's going to be building this up? So like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
empower, like, I feel like we should be teaching beyond what the government wants us to know.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I don't want teachers to get fired or nothing, but it should be made a stand, and people should be more aware of these things.
Yeah. Um, are you recording us?
Oh yes, I've been recording this for a second now. That's just like, I started recording like on the first question, actually, when we started really talking about Donald Trump and stuff like that.
Oh,
But like,
great. Okay.
it's all on there. I can edit something out if
That
there's
would be great.
something. But
You're not going to be playing my
explain how
voice, are
people
you?
can, no, it's
Okay.
just
You're
for
just
one.
using it for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Explain how can be used for good or bad. Good or bad.
I think we've kind of already talked about that a
Yeah.
little bit, like um how you can use your influence to empower other people, to help them like come to their own conclusions and make their own choices, but to also guide and support them in like doing things that are positive for themselves
Right.
and for others. um and
Because
then I
that's really amazing. Like, a person that can not only influence you to do what's best for you
Mhm.
and feed you certain information, that I want to say is also bettering you, but for things that you should know. Like, dang, I kind of feel like I messed that up a little bit.
no, it's totally, I'm tracking. But I think that like as far as like bad power, I think we can talk about like the fact that people who are influencing others to marginalize groups of people, to incite violence,
Right.
to
I see.
create
I feel like I know where you're coming from more now with that Donald Trump thing, because like
yeah,
they said he had tweeted a couple messages and then people had stormed the
yeah,
White House, which, if we go back to those, I don't even want to pull it on right now, but I say if we go back to them, they had took down his whole entire Twitter and all his social
right,
media. So I feel like we truly do not know the full story, but at the exact same time, we know that there are people in this government. Either way, like, it's a two-sided thing. So
right,
like, I can't say we can fully blame Trump for that. But I do say, like, people like Trump supporters can get a little overboard and go crazy at times when they
right.
don't know what's going on. And
Right. And
that's
not
kind
to
of
say
scary
that
for
other
people.
groups of people can't get to be radical, other than just the, conservative right Trump supporters. But I feel like there are lots of different groups that can become radicalized in their viewpoints. And so that it negatively impacts other people, you know? And when people use their power or influence to marginalize groups of people and to do things like that, that's not a responsible use of power. That's not a positive use of power.
because
That's using power not for the greater good.
because if anything, we're all still a part of the exact same country, no matter what color, demographic, or what you believe in. We're still all a part of this country. If this
Right.
country go down, then we all technically go down. It's
Right.
all one big L. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, it should get to the point where we can have our differences, but we can still come together and make this country
Right.
run. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And there shouldn't be none of this child trafficking or any of this corrupt stuff going
Oh
on in the government.
gosh.
The people should be educated enough to come up with their own thoughts and research for real and really get into the
Right.
background of these political figures.
But I think sometimes people think that they are researching, but then they're going to like bias news sources. You know what I'm saying? So they think I'm finding out the truth.
Mhm.
But what they're looking at still isn't the actual truth. It's like somebody's spin on the truth,
Yes.
you know? So
Instead
which
of
even
like, and
creates even more of a problem.
but you know that is also true. We got all these news platforms that be putting out all this
That have
information, and then
power.
we got people that be going through all this stuff, making their own videos and stuff. So
Right.
like in a
It's
world,
scary.
it's the information age of
know.
Aquarius. But I'm saying like
Still, it's scary though.
it is to an extent, but like I feel that we can get through this as long as we can figure out what's the real and what's the fake.
Right.
Like
And that's
honestly,
where we have to
but
have
but
like
we have
really
to be 100 with
strong.
ourselves.
Yeah, and that's where we have to have a strong sense of right and wrong and our values. And that's where, like, kind of circling back to like teaching mindfulness and stuff to students.
But if anything, all people really want in life is to simply have a house, food and shelter, and a nice life. We
Mhm.
don't need all this violence and destructiveness. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? If everybody can
I think
have
that's fear-based.
free
Don't you think
food,
it's fear-based?
yes. I feel like a lot of the news centers is very fear based, and that's
Mhm.
why I don't really watch TV. I don't really believe
I
when they
don't
be talking
really
about
either.
new outbreaks is popping out because I know a part of their agenda is to keep us scared.
Mhm.
Of what? I don't know. But it could be worse or it couldn't whatsoever. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like they could really be nah, I don't want to say for coronavirus. I feel like they really just playing with us, bro. I feel like this, but they really just trying to geek this up for a bigger reason. Like and I
Could
really
be.
believe it's the vaccine, bro. And I'm not going for those whatsoever. Like whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
but
Well,
thank you for this
of course.
interview. I wouldn't
Yes.
say.
It was a discussion, which is the best kind of
Can I
interview.
please use this?
Push that.